Hi and welcome to another story, and today we have part 3 of Cookie by Jacqueline Wilson, continuing from chapter 5. I went to Lily's birthday party, of course, along with a million other little kids, all of us singing happy birthday to you into our television sets. Lily looked up and blinked her big blue eyes, especially at me. Sam was wearing a fantastic new t-shirt in her honour, dark green with little white lily-type rabbits running across his chest. Lily seemed very appreciative, cheekily poking out her little pink tongue at Sam. She likes my green t-shirt, doesn't she? Maybe she thinks it's a great big cabbage. Sam gave Lily real cabbage leaves for her tea, and guess what? A carrot cake with a candle, almost exactly the same as the one I'd drawn. You gave me the idea, Beauty, Sam whispered. Lily loves her cake, though. I'm not sure she's up to blowing out the candle. Will you help her? 1, 2, 3, blow! I blew, Sam blew, children all over Britain blew, and Lily's candle went out. There! Now Lily has to make her special birthday wish. She'd like to share her birthday wish with you, Beauty. Close your eyes and wish hard. I closed my eyes and wished. I wished I could really meet you and Lily and Sam. Sam gave Lily a cosy new bed for her birthday present, with a special green duvet and a straw pillow. She tried it out, looking very cute, though she lay in it in the wrong way round, her head under the duvet, and her big fluffy tail bottom on the pillow. Silly old Lily, Sam said fondly. Out you come, sweetie. It's not bedtime yet. It's time for all your party games. We're going to play Blind Bunny Buff and Pass the Parsnip and Hunt the Carrot. Lily took no notice. Do you know something? I think she's really gone to sleep, Sam said. Oh, well, maybe you'd like to invent a special party game for Lily. Would you like to paint it for me? Send your paintings to me at the Rabbit Hutch. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Bye for now. Oh, just a minute, he said as the music started up to show it was the end of the programme. Beauty, I do hope you enjoy Rona's party. Thank you, Sam, I said. I went upstairs and drew a picture of me with Lily on my lap. I'm quite small and Lily's very big, so it looked as if I was giving a polar bear a cuddle. I had my arms outstretched to cope with Lily's breath. One hand clamped around her haunch to help keep her safely wedged on my lap, the other hand stroking her head. This is a very simple but very special party game. I printed at the top of my picture. It can be played at very small parties by one person and one pet. It's called Stroke the Rabbit. Then I sat cross-legged on my bed with my arms out as if I was holding an imaginary Lily. I stroked thin air until my arms ached. I heard Dad's car draw up in the driveway. I listened hard as he came in through the front door. He wasn't singing his silly, happy home song. He wasn't dancing down the hall in his socks. It looked like he was in a bad mood. I decided to stay in my room as long as possible. At least I could hear any shouting. After a long time, Mum called up to me that supper was ready. I started down the stairs and went to go into the dining room, where Mum usually set the table. No, we're having supper on trays in the living room. Dad's a bit tired, said Mum, taking me gently by the shoulders and turning me round. She gave me a little reassuring pat as she did so. Dad was slumped in his chair, his shirt top buttons undone and his belt buckle loosened. He looked as if he needed to ease his head too. There were lines stretched tight across his forehead, pinching the top of his nose. My tummy tensed, but he gave me a surprisingly warm smile. Hello there, little beauty. What have you been up to, eh? I've just been doing my homework, Dad, I said. That's my clever girl, Dad said, sighing. You come and cheer your old dad up now. I've spent the whole day arguing with Jobsworth, who won't budge an inch, and it's doing my head in. Tell me about your day, darling. What did you get up to with all your chums? I took a deep breath and launched into an utterly fictitious account of my day with my best friend Rona. Mum served us Marks and Spencer spaghetti bolognese, while I nattered on about Rona and me making up a dance routine together and everyone clapping. I was getting a little carried away as I couldn't dance to save my life, but Dad seemed to believe me. That's my girlie, he said happily. Will Rona be having dancing at her party tomorrow, Mum said. I don't know. Maybe, I said cautiously. It says wear casual clothes on the invitation. Oh, and we're supposed to take our swimming costumes too. Have they got their own pool then? Said Dad. Where does she live? In Groveland Park? Most of the houses there have pools, but they're all the size of postage stamps. I bet you'll sit on the edge and swish your tootsies in the water. I wish they'd say exactly what they mean by casual, said Mum. Does that mean you wear your jeans? Beauty's not wearing jeans to a party, said Dad. No, she'll wear her little pink number. I stopped eating. Dad had taken me to one of his golf dinner and dances at Christmas. He'd insisted on buying me an elaborate bridesmaid-type satin dress with a gauzy puff sleeves and ruching and frills flouncing everywhere. I looked truly terrible in it, like I was wearing an old lady's eiderdown. I imagined the remarks that Skye and Emily and Arabella would make. Not my pink dress, I blurted. Dad stopped, eating too, and Mum. What's the matter with your pink dress, said Dad. Cost a small fortune from Harrods, don't you like it? I forced a smile. Oh, I love it, Dad, I said. My voice went high and squeaky and I was trying so hard. That's precisely the problem. It's so ultra-gorgeous and glamorous that I'm terrified of getting it spoiled at the party. I could easily spill juice all down it, or tear off one of the frills. Not if you're careful, said Dad, but he nodded approvingly all the same. I'm glad you want to look after it. Still, no jeans. You don't want to look like a dirty, scruffy tomboy at this party. How about your pretty blue blouse and your little white pleated skirt? You look sweet in that. It was my second most hated outfit. They would still sneer and snigger at me, but it was marginally better than the pink eiderdown outfit. Yes, good idea, Dad, I said. Mum could maybe tie blue ribbons in your hair, said Dad. He ran his fingers through my long, limp hair, sighing, couldn't you find some rollers, Dilly? Give it a bit of a curl. Beauty would hate having those uncomfy rollers prodding her head, said Mum. Dad wound spaghetti round and round his fork. You girls have to suffer a bit for your looks, he said, chomping, his tongue and teeth coated with tomato sauce. I know. Take it to the hairdresser's Saturday morning. Get them to primp and twiddle with her hair. Do it fancy-like. Well, Mum saw my desperate expression. I don't think we'd be able to get her an appointment at the hairdresser's at such short notice. Oh, Dilly, why are you always so hopeless? Look, get Beauty along there when they open and insist on an appointment. You could do it with getting your hair done yourself. It's a bit... He made wobbly gestures with his hands. Sort of tired. All of Mum looked tired nowadays. It was such hard work trying to keep Dad happy. She was very pale, with violet circles under her eyes. She still looked very pretty, but like she hadn't had any sleep for a week. She looked at me apologetically. OK, I'll take Beauty tomorrow morning and we'll both get our hair done. That's the ticket, said Dad, breaking off a piece of bread and wiping it round his plate. I want my girls to do me proud. We know that, Jerry, said Mum, with the tiniest edge to her voice. Dad was up very early on Saturday to go to play golf. He crept around getting dressed and going to the bathroom, but tripped at the top of the stairs. His golf clubs made such a clatter that I shot out of bed and ran onto the landing, convinced the house was falling down. Dad collected up his clubs, cursing furiously. Oops, pardon my French, he said, when he saw me. Back to bed, Beauty. I'm just off to my golf. Got to keep him with the right guys. This is the way your dad sorts out his little problems. Just call me Jerry the Fixer. Ta-ta, baby. Enjoy your party. I didn't go to bed. I pattered into Mum's bedroom and slid in beside her. Mum put her arms around me and cuddled me close. Both our hearts were still thudding fast because of the noise. We were just drifting back to sleep when there was another crash from downstairs and sounds of Dad swearing. Oh, God, that sounded like a bottle of juice. He's jerked the fridge open so violently it'll have fallen out, Mum murmured. Can't you even stack the fridge properly, Dilly? I've got cranberry juice all over my cream golf trousers. Dad yelled up the stairs. I couldn't help giggling. Her Mum started spluttering too. She covered our faces with a duvet so he couldn't hear. Dilly, Dad shouted furiously, get that lazy butt of yours downstairs and sort this fridge out before I get back. He slammed out of the house, banging the front door. We waited, listening for the thud of the car door, the hum of the engine. The gravel crunched as Dad drove off. Mum and I sighed and lay flat on our backs, limp with relief that he'd gone. I think he's woken up all the neighbours, not just us, said Mum. Do you think he'll still be cross when he gets home? I asked. Not if he wins at golf, said Mum, yawning. What time do you think he'll be back? Will he want to collect me from Rona's party? I asked anxiously. Maybe, said Mum. So I've really got to wear my blue blouse and that pleated skirt. You look lovely in it, really, and we'll get your hair all curly. Mum, they're all going to laugh at me. No, they won't, said Mum. You'll look wonderful. They'll be envious. You're just saying that to make me feel better, I said, giving her a little shake. Well, OK, I wish I could make everything better for you, Beauty. Mum paused, gently stroking my neck and shoulders. Are you unhappy, pet? I took a deep breath. No, I'm fine, I said. Now you're just saying that to make me feel better. Oh, lovey, I don't know what to do. Your dad's getting worse, isn't he? But if I try to stop him, he gets even angrier. I know. And at school, do they still tease you lots? Yep. Does Rona? No, she's always kind to me. Well, that's great. Can't you be friends with her? Mum, she's Sky's best friend, and Sky is my most deadly enemy. She hates me. Well, we hate her, said Mum, and her horrible patronising mother. When we got you into Lady Mary Mountbank, she came up to me in the playground and welcomed me to the school like it was her own family house. And then she goes, so, are you Beauty's big sister? And then she gives this great shriek when I said I'm your mum. You must have had her so young, like I'm a child bride. Well, OK, maybe I was, but it's none of her business, eh? I liked it better at Jenner Street Primary, Mum. I know, love, but your dad set his heart on you going to Lady Mary Mountbank. It is a really good school. You'll go on to the seniors, swan off to university, get a brilliant degree, have a fantastic career, whatever. I don't want you to end up like me. I've never had a proper job. I was just a receptionist at Happy Homes, and I wasn't even a good receptionist. I was too shy to speak up properly, and I kept getting muddled using the telephone switchboard. Your dad called me into his office all set to fire me, only I was wearing some silly skimpy top, and he got distracted and asked me out on a date instead. Maybe if you weren't so pretty, you'd have simply got the sack. You'd have found some other job and some other man, someone the complete opposite of Dad. I tried to imagine him. I saw Sam as if I had a tiny television set inside each eye. Someone gentle, who listens and lets you do what you want. Someone who never ever shouts. Someone who's always in a good mood. Mum lay still, holding her breath as if I was telling her a fairy story. Then she gave a long sigh. Yeah, right, she said sadly. Then she tickled me under the chin. No, wrong. If I hadn't married your dad, I wouldn't have had you, babe. But you'd have had another girl. You could have met a dead handsome guy, and then I'd maybe be a real beauty. You're my beauty now, and we're going to make you even more beautiful at the hairdresser's. Mum was trying hard to sound positive. I hoped the hairdressers would be totally booked up, maybe with a bride and her mum and 6 bridesmaids and a flower girl, but they were depressingly empty when we went to the door. They could fit us in with ease. My hairdresser was called Becky. She was very blonde and very slim and very pretty, almost as pretty as Skye. I was worried she'd act like Skye too, sniggering and making faces in the mirror to her colleagues as she shampooed my scraggly hair and then twisted it into spiral curls, lock by lock. But she was really sweet to me, chatting away as if we were friends. She spent ages on my hair. When she'd finally finished dabbing at it with her styling comb, she stood back, smiling. There, don't you look lovely, she said. I didn't look lovely at all. My hair twizzled this way and that in odd, thin ringlets. My ears stuck out comically in between the curls. I wanted to hide my head in her waste paper basket and weep, but she'd tried so hard to please me, I politely pretended to be delighted with my new-look corkscrew head. Mum had a similar hairstyle, but it really did look lovely on her. Her little pale, heart-shaped face was framed with a halo of pale gold curls. Skye's mother was actually right. She really did look like my big sister. When we went round the town shopping, lots of men stared at her, and a gang of boys all wolf-whistled. No one would laugh if you were called Beauty, Mum, I said. Hey, let's swap names. You be Beauty, and I'll be Dilly. Dilly's a duff name too. Dillis, I suppose my mum thought it was posh. Let's choose different names. I'll be, what shall I be called? Something dignified and grown-up and sensible. Mum giggled. All the things I'm not. She saw the sign on the front of the door. How about Claire? OK, I'll be Sarah, after Sarah Crewe. Let's be best friends, Claire. Are we the same age then, said Mum. No, I'm a couple of years older than you, I said firmly, so I get to sort things out for both of us. Mum laughed. Yep, I think you'll be good at that, she said. We played the Claire and Sarah game as we went around the shopping centre looking for a good birthday present for Rona. She was our friend, but only our second best friend. We were best friends, and now we'd left college, we shared a flat together, and we both had fabulous jobs. Claire was a television presenter, and Sarah was a children's book illustrator. Maybe we'll work in the same studio as the Rabbit Hutch show, and you'll get to meet Sam and Lily, Claire, I said. Oh, I know Sam already, said Mum, acting Claire. Don't tell, but we're actually dating. She looked at me a little anxiously. Is that okay, Sarah, or do you want Sam as your boyfriend? Maybe, I said. Well, perhaps we'll have to share him, said Mum, giggling. I'll go out with him one week and you can go out with him the next. And I'm going to draw Lily. Yeah, I'm going to make a picture book all about her. Do you think Rona would like a book as a birthday present, said Mum, swapping back to herself. I'm not sure what sort of book she likes, I said. I thought about it. Do you think she'd like A Little Princess? It's my absolute favourite book. Then I'm sure she'd like it too. So we bought her a copy in W.H. Smith's, and then we went into the actual Claire shop and bought her 3 slim silver bangles, and then we went to New Look and bought her a pink T-shirt with Princess written in silver lettering on the front. There, it all goes beautifully together, said Mum. She'll love her presents. Beauty. Do you really think so? They're more interesting than a stuffed teddy bear, aren't they? That's what Lulu and Poo-Poo are giving her. She'll like your presents best, Beauty, said Mum. Just you wait and see. Chapter 6. There, you look lovely, Beauty, said Mum, giving me little strokes as if I was Lily. No, I don't, I said. Yes, you do, darling, honestly, said Mum. I dodged round her to get to the long mirror in her bedroom. I knew she was simply saying that to make me feel good, but I still wondered whether somehow she could be right. I looked in the mirror, hoping for a miracle. It hadn't happened. I stared back, a podgy, awkward girl with corkscrew curls, a frilly blue blouse and a white skirt way too tight. I looked at myself until I blurred, because my eyes filled with tears. "I look a total Burke, Mum," I said flatly. I stuck out my tongue at my image and waddled about in my black patent shoes, turning myself into a clown. "Stop it, darling, you look great." "Well, maybe the shoes aren't quite right. They do look a bit clumpy," said Mum. "We should get you some lighter party shoes, white or maybe silver." She suddenly darted to her wardrobe and rummaged at the bottom among her own shoes. She produced a pair of silver dance shoes and waved them triumphantly in the air. I stared at her as if she'd gone mad. "I can't wear them, Mum. They're yours. They'll be much too big." But when I sat down and put them on, they very nearly fitted me. I was alarmed at the thought I had feet as big as my mum's already. They'd be totally enormous by the time I was grown up. I'd have to wear real clown's boots, those long ones as big as baguettes. "They look great on you," said Mum, "but they've got high heels." "They're not that high. Anyway, it'll make all the other girls jealous if you're wearing proper heels," said Mum. I considered this. "OK, so how do you walk in them?" I said, wobbling to my feet. I took one uncertain step and nearly fell over. "The answer is with great difficulty," I said, clutching Mum. "You'll be fine, Beauty. You just need to practice," said Mum. I staggered round the room and onto the landing. I toured my own bedroom, my bathroom, Mum and Dad's bathroom, Mum's dressing room, and one of the spare bedrooms. I fell over once and twisted my ankle twice. "Maybe the heels aren't such a good idea after all," said Mum. I begged to keep them on, knowing that none of the other girls had proper high heels, not even Sky. Wonderfully, Dad wasn't back from his golf game when it was time to leave for the party, so Mum drove me in her little purple car. Dad bought it for her on their 10th wedding anniversary. It had purple velvet cushions in the back, and 2 fluffy purple teddies with their arms wrapped around each other, and silly smiles sewn on their snouts to show that they were in love with each other. I knew for a fact that one colour Mum didn't care for at all was purple, but she squealed obediently when she discovered the car outside our house. It was tied up with an enormous purple satin ribbon, so that it looked like a gigantic Easter egg. I sat in the back with the canoodling teddies, while Mum drove to Rona's house. We set off in good time, but we ended up arriving 10 minutes late. Mum drives very slowly and cautiously. She takes ages edging out into the main roads, not making a move until there's not another car in sight. She also got lost twice. "I'm sorry, babes. I'm so useless," she said, drawing up outside Rona's house at last. There was a big bunch of pink and blue balloons tied to the gate to show that there was a party going on. The living room glowed rose with pink fairy lights. I saw hordes of girls rushing around, waving their arms and dancing. We could hear the music from inside the car. Sky bobbed into view, flinging back her long silky hair as she step-tapped sideways. My tummy tightened. "I don't think I really want to go to the party," I said. "Oh, Beauty, come on, darling. You'll be fine once you get inside," said Mum, squeezing my hand tightly. "You're going to have a lovely time." When I teetered up to the front path in my high heels and knocked at the front door, Rona opened it immediately. She smiled as if she'd been waiting especially for me. She was wearing a red stripy top and a short black skirt. She had red lipstick on too, though it had gone a bit wobbly at the edges. "Happy birthday, Rona. You look lovely," I said. Rona was blinking at my new corkscrew hair. "Wow, Beauty. You look so different," she said. She swallowed. "You look lovely too," she said. Her eyes slid down my blue frills and white pleats. Then she saw my shoes, and her mouth widened in genuine delight. "Oh my goodness, look at your shoes. Mum won't let me wear even the weeniest heels. She says I've got to wait until I'm at least 13. "Oh, you're so lucky." I walked in proudly, keeping my legs rigid, willing myself not to wobble. "Here's your present," I said, offering it shyly. I'd spent ages wrapping it up. Rona didn't snatch it carelessly or shove it in a corner. She held it carefully, stroking the silver paper and pink satin ribbon. "Rona, come on, it's the Don't Feel Like Dancing song," Sky called from the party room. "Just a minute," said Rona. She undid the ribbon, smoothing it out and then winding it into a little silky ball. She slid her finger under the wrapping paper and eased it off. She slipped the 3 silver bangles over her wrist and waved her arms so that they jangled. She held her pink princess T-shirt against her, showing that it would fit her perfectly. She opened her book and peered at it politely. "Thank you so much, Beauty," she said, giving me a big lipsticky grin. "They're wonderful presents." "I'm so glad you like them," I said. We smiled at each other. I wanted to freeze-frame us so that we stayed in that magic moment in her hall, on the edge of her party, Rona and me. But then Sky shouted again, and Rona rolled her eyes at me. "Come on," she said. "Just wait till they all see your gorgeous silver shoes." They didn't notice my high heels at first. They were too busy gawping at my hair. Sky gave an exaggerated double take when she saw me, standing still, hands on hips. She was wearing an even shorter skirt than Rona, and a little black vest top that showed her totally flat tummy. She'd inked a blue star around her belly button that looked almost like a real tattoo. "Oh my God, who's this? Hey, it's the Corkscrew Kid! Old ugly curly knob!" She got started on my blouse next, pulling the pussycat bow, saying her granny had exactly the same blouse. She'd bought it for 10p at a jumble sale, and Emily and Arabella hooted with laughter. "Shut up, Skye," said Rona, but no one could ever shut Skye up. I turned my back on her and went over to the sofa. An entire squadron of teddy bears were squashed up together, jostling each other with their furry paws. "Look at Beauty's fantastic shoes," said Rona. "She can't walk properly in them," said Skye. "Wiggle, waggle, woggle, bum." I plonked myself down in the midst of the teddies, blinking hard. The others started dancing. Rona and Skye, Emily and Arabella, Lulu and Poo-Poo, everyone. Some girls danced in a little group together. I could have got up and danced with them, but I didn't. I picked 2 of the teddies and made them dance instead, up and down the arm of the sofa. Then they had a singing contest. Skye had given Rona a karaoke set for her birthday. She had first go to show us how to do it. Skye was brilliant at it, of course, using the mic professionally and jigging along to the music. Rona tried hard when it was her turn, but she kept getting the giggles and losing her place. Arabella and Emily performed as a duo, and were quite good, jumping up and down and shaking their hips in unison. "Whose turn is it now?" Skye asked. There was a general clamour of "Me, me, me." Skye ignored all of them. She was looking straight at me. "You have a go, ugly corkscrew," she said. "No thanks," I said. "Come on, you've got to join in. Don't be a party pooper," said Skye. "It's your go now. Choose your song." I'd never even heard of most of the songs. Dad hated all modern pop music, calling it that waily, thumpy rubbish. He listened to old rock bands from ages ago. I could sing those songs all right, but they weren't on offer. I dithered helplessly. Skye raised her eyebrows. "Get on with it, ugly. Come on, come on, come on." She turned it into a chant, and the others started joining in. "We'll sing a duet, you and me and Beauty," said Rona. Skye frowned. "No, let us sing solo. You've had a go anyway, Rona." "Yes, but it's my party, so I can sing as often as I want," said Rona, smiling sweetly. She scanned the songs on offer. "We'll sing Baby Boo." She took hold of me and pulled me to the mic. I squeezed her hand. "I don't know it," I whispered. "You don't need to. I'll sing the main bit, and you just go baby boo, 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 pee, do. After each line, it's easy peasy, Beauty." She started the music and sang the line. I mumbled my way through the daft baby boo refrain. Rona sang the next verse, and then I went through the baby boo babble again. I realised Rona was right. It was easy peasy. She got the giggles again in the last verse because there was a whole lot of silly stuff about making you moan, obviously a reference to sex. When Rona collapsed, I sang the lines because I knew the tune now. We sang the last line together and yelled the chorus, "Baby boo, 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 boopy doo," finishing with a twirl. I wobbled wildly in Mum's heels and clutched Rona. We both ended up on the floor, shrieking with laughter. The others laughed too, but they were laughing with us, not at us. Well, Skye wasn't laughing. "I hope you realise what a fool you're making of yourself, ugly," she hissed. "Don't think Rona wants to be your friend. She's just being kind because she feels sorry for you." I tried not to take any notice, but I worried that she might be right. I got to sit on one side of Rona at her birthday tea. Skye sat the other side, of course. It was wonderful food. Giant turkey and bacon and salad club sandwiches held together with toothpicks. Sausages dipped in tomato sauce. Potato wedges with sour cream and salsa dips. 4-cheese pizza with pineapple topping. Mini burgers with relish and pickles. An enormous trifle with whipped cream and cherries. Fairy cupcakes and pink and lilac and baby blue icing. Chocolate fridge cake, and a huge birthday cake in the shape of an R, decorated with little silver hearts and crystallised roses. "It looks so beautiful," I said in awe. "Oh, my mum loves cooking," said Rona. "Let's tuck in." I picked up my plate and started munching. Rona's mum poured us all glasses of juice, cranberry, orange or raspberry. "Which juice would you like, dear?" she asked me. "Cranberry, please," I said indistinctly, my mouth full. I swallowed. "Oh, Mrs. Marshall, this is absolutely delicious." "Thank you, darling. I'm glad you're enjoying it," she said, smiling at me and then moving on. "Good grief. Look at the way Ugly's piled up her plate high," Skye muttered. "She's such a greedy guts. No wonder she's got such a big belly. Look, it's sticking out of all the pleats on her ridiculous skirt." Rona pretended not to hear, but Arabella and Emily sniggered. I wanted to push Skye's head plop into the bowl of trifle. I tried to act as if I hadn't heard her. I ate my entire plateful, though the food tasted like cardboard now. It was easier after tea because the grown-ups came into the living room with us, and Skye was too sly to be blatantly mean to me in front of the Marshalls. Mr. Marshall stuck a false moustache under his nose balanced a silly hat sideways on his head and said he was Bumble the Conjurer. He did a lot of tricks that didn't work properly. I wasn't sure if this was deliberate or not. I tittered uncertainly when he picked the wrong card or tapped the wrong box. Rona roared with laughter and kept yelling, "Oh, Dad, you are so stupid." I held my breath the first time she said it, but Mr. Marshall didn't turn a hair. He just pulled a funny face, sticking one finger in his mouth, looking all droopy and woe-begone. Rona laughed all the more. I wondered what my dad would do if I called him stupid. Mr. Marshall's conjuring act went on a little too long, and some of the girls started chatting amongst themselves. "Can we have our swim now?" Skye asked. "You need to let your tea go down properly first," said Mrs. Marshall. "Let's all give Mr. Bumble a clap, and then we'll play a nice quiet party game." She fetched a big tray full of 20 tiny objects and told us to look at them carefully. I stared hard, memorising everything. There was a watch, nail varnish, lipstick, ring, rubber spider, plaster, pencil sharpener, flower matches, bottle opener, tape measure, straw, key, nail, postcard, stamp, little scissors, thermometer, perfume, and a very tiny teddy in striped pyjamas. Everyone went, "Ah," when they spotted the little teddy because he looked so cute. Mrs. Marshall covered the tray with a big cloth and gave us each pens and paper. "Write down as many things as you on the tray as you can remember," said Mrs. Marshall. There was a great groan. "That's not fair. I was just looking at that little teddy," said Skye. "Let me have another look at the tray." She went to which the cover off. "Certainly not, Skye," said Mrs. Marshall. "But I don't know what else was on the wretched tray." "I'm afraid that's just your bad luck," said Mrs. Marshall. She said it cheerily, but I started to wonder if she didn't like Skye either, even though she was Rona's best friend. I closed my eyes and saw a picture of the tray inside my head. I opened my eyes and started scribbling quickly on my piece of paper. Everyone else was moaning and sighing and conferring. I didn't need to. I wrote watch, nail, varnish, lipstick, ring, spider, plaster, sharpener, flower, matches, bottle opener, tape measure, straw, key, nail, postcard, stamp, scissors, thermometer, perfume, and tiny teddy. "Wow, look at Beauty, she's written a huge long list," said Rona. "Oh, that ugly. It's just the sort of stupid swatty thing she would do. I think this is a boring game. Can't we play something else?" said Skye. "No, let's carry on. I think this is a good game," said Emily, who was writing rapidly too. She ended up with 20 answers and was sure she'd won, but when Mrs. Marshall checked, she'd made up 4 items. "Still, 16 correct is positively brilliant," said Arabella. "I could only come up with 5. Still, at least I'm not bottom." She glanced at Skye, who had only written one word, Teddy. "I wasn't playing," Skye said quickly. "So, well done, Emily, you've won." "No, no," said Mrs. Marshall, running her finger down the list. "Beauty's won. She's got every single item right. That's brilliant, sweetheart." Skye groaned and pulled her face. "Trust ugly," she said. She said it loud enough for Mrs. Marshall to hear. She frowned at Skye and then turned to me. "Well done, Beauty. You get the little teddy bear as your prize." "Oh, lucky Beauty," they all said. Rona picked the tiny teddy off the tray and tucked him in the palm of my hand. "I'm glad you won the game, Beauty," she said. There was a quiz game after that. I knew all the answers in the history and literature and geography sections. I started to worry that it wouldn't be polite to win this game too. But I could only answer one question in the television section, and none at all in pop music and famous celebrities, so I didn't win anything. Emily did win this time. Though she didn't get a tiny teddy, she just won a pen and notebook. "Now, can we go for our swim?" Skye whined. "Yes, dear," said Mrs. Marshall brightly. "Change in Rona's bedroom. The pool's outside. Take a running jump. Be my guest." Some of the girls were wearing their swimming costumes under their clothes, so it was easy for them to get changed quickly and decently. I struggled to unbuckle Mum's shoes, wriggle out of my tights and get my knickers off without anyone looking. I wished I was a lot smaller and my white skirt more voluminous. "Look at old Ugly showing off her bum," said Skye. "Wibble wobble, wibble wobble." She cast off her own tiny skirt and top in 2 shakes. She was wearing an emerald green bikini, high cut so that it made her slender legs look longer than ever. She twisted her long fair hair into a knot on top of her head and secured it with a green hair clasp. Most of the girls had similar cool, glamorous swimsuits. Arabella had a red halter-neck bikini, and she looked very grown up in it, though she had to keep tugging at the top to keep it in place. I had a silly baby costume, pale blue patterned with ice cream cones. It was last year's costume because I hardly ever went swimming. It clung to me, emphasising my tummy. I sucked it in as far as I could. It felt as though they were all staring at me. I felt incredibly self-conscious, padding across the carpet and out into the hall. I clutched the tiny teddy for comfort. Mrs. Marshall smiled at me. "I don't think that teddy is really into swimming," she said. "I'm not sure I am either," I said. I could swim breaststroke. I'd had proper lessons, but I couldn't risk getting my new hairdo wet. I let the others jump wildly into the pool and caper about. I sat hunched on the edge, feet dangling in the water. I tried to keep my stomach sucked in, hanging on tight to teeny Teddy. Rona came and sat beside me. She was wearing a tankini, a pink and white top with a little shorts. Her tummy stuck out a little too, but she didn't seem to care in the slightest. "I'm so glad you got to win the little Teddy, Beauty," she said. "I've got a twin one just like him, with those sweet little pyjamas, only mine's got red stripes instead of blue. What do you call yours?" "Teddy." "Oh, Rona, he's got to have a proper name." "Well, I don't know. What are you going to call your Teddy?" I sat him in the palm of my hand, staring at his little furry face. He had a long snout and serious expression. He might be tiny, but he certainly wasn't a baby. "I think he's quite elderly in Teddy years. He's wearing the sort of pyjamas that grandpas wear. I think I'll call him Nicholas Navy Bear." Rona giggled. "That's a great name. OK, so what can mine be called?" "You said your Teddy's got red pyjamas, so yours can be Reginald Red Ted." "Perfect," said Rona, giggling. "Rona, get in the pool," Sky shouted. Rona laughed and kicked her legs, splashing. "In a minute," she said cheerily. I wished I had Rona's happy-go-lucky knack of being friends with everyone. "You better name all my other birthday bears too, Beauty," said Rona. "Rona! Rona! Rona, get in the pool! We want to give you the birthday bumps!" Sky shouted. "I'm talking to Beauty just this second," said Rona. "Who wants to talk to boring old Ugly?" said Emily. "Don't call her that," said Rona. "Come on, jump in the pool," said Arabella. "Rona, come here!" Sky yelled imperiously. Rona raised her eyebrows. "Watch this," she muttered to me. She stood up, took a running jump, tucked her knees up and landed right beside Sky, totally capsizing her. I couldn't help laughing. Sky spluttered to the surface, shaking her head. She blinked and saw me grinning. "Oh, so you think it's funny, do you, Ugly?" said Sky. "Well, come and join in the fun with us then." She swam 3 strokes towards me and tugged hard on my ankles. I shrieked as I shot into the water, right over my head. When I surfaced, gasping, Sky screamed with laughter. "Look at Ugly! Her curls are all unravelling. She's getting unscrewed." I put my hands up to my hair. What would Dad say now? I tried winding one of the curls quickly round my fingers, but it wouldn't go back into shape. I had both hands free. Oh no! Nicholas Navy Bear had drowned. And that is where we will leave part 3 of Cookie by Jacqueline Wilson. I'll be back soon with the next part of this fantastic story and lots more stories and videos coming your way very soon. If you'd like to subscribe or hit a like, that's always appreciated. Thanks for listening, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.